Like, come on, man. Why you gotta drag me along like this? I ain't no dog on a leash.
You think I trust you after that stunt you pulled a few weeks back? Yeah, you're staying with me.
Hey, Lyrillin, you said we were going to meet Ani and Rowan in the library today. Where are they?
Good point, Mars. I don't see them anywhere. They must have ran off.
Dang. I was hoping they'd have some snacks for us. I didn't have time to grab any.
Well, while we're here, we might as well explore more of what the library wants to show us. Maybe we'll run into them.
Hey, man, we could, like...
No, Jean. Let me handle this today.
Oh, man.
Alright, well, is there anything in particular you want to look for? We should err on the safer side while we wait for the others.
Safer? With Jean?
Oh, as safe as we can be, at least.
Well, I've been thinking. Since I joined 8 weeks ago, everyone has led their own exploration. Well, except Mars, but they have their snacks. I know I'm new to the club, but even Jean has commandeered one of our trips.
Yeah, man. We can't let them keep me down. There's so many secrets to uncover.
Now, Jean. Anyway, I want to find something of my own here. I want to explore and see what speaks to me.
Alright, do you have anything in mind? The library has a tendency to bring things to us, if you will. Maybe having an idea will help us find something.
Yeah, Kat. Tell us your story.
Well, I'm an optimist. I work hard to be certain of myself and my decisions. It's why I never think twice about having joined the club. This is what I chose to do. I make decisions too quickly, but I never let myself regret it. I chose to do a double major in psychology and anthropology, no matter how much my family hates it. I moved all the way here from Miami, even though I don't know anyone up here. My family, on the other hand, are not like this. They're always stuck somehow. They can't even pick what to have for dinner, let alone major life decisions. Their main goal seems to be to stay where they are, where it's safe, even if it hurts them or those around them. So, I want something that talks about this as a whole. Something that explores how others handle this.
Something that shows you aren't alone in this.
Aw, Kat. You aren't alone. You have me and Carl II. As long as he's here, you'll be okay.
Yeah, but something that lets me know there are others like me, even in other realities.
Oh, I see. Let's hit the stacks.
Hey guys, have you found anything?
Nothing here.
Nah, man. They locked everything up tight. Must have known I was coming. They got eyes everywhere.
Hold on, I think I found something. It's full of poems, but it seems to fit.
Oh, what's it about?
It looks like the story of the neighbor of a watchmaker. They end up leaving their life behind to chase after some dream, I think. The text is faded, but I can mostly read it.
Oh, yeah, man. Way to uncover their mysteries. The man can never keep us...
Alright, so let's read. The city stands here, before and after, above and below, across and through. The eternity and void at the end of history. Great, eternal, magnificent. Moving mountains and filling seas unshakable. Black, white, red. Lost, lost. I don't even know what I've lost, nor where I lost it. Walking down the road, my hands fumble in my pockets.
Before stepping into the wilderness, I had a long, all-night conversation with the watchmaker who suffered from dementia. That night I witnessed the disassembly of a pocket watch, which later made my life in the city fraught with hardship each step a struggle. Back then, the inn hadn't yet installed electric lights, and the wind howling through the walls repeatedly snuffed out the candles, releasing the scent of sacrificial offerings. My conversation with the old watchmaker flickered intermittently with the unsteady candlelight. The crumbling inn, the feverishly burning moon, the endless pauses. I could almost see intangible things flitting through the phosphorescent air, while the watchmaker's hands, fiddling with the pocket watch, were as parched as cracked earth in the dry season of the north. Later, whenever I recalled the hollow, drawn-out talk of that night, my vision would grow unbearably sluggish and distorted. The sound of sandpaper grating against bone often forced me to stop my work, my eyes unfocused, and my busy yet idle daily life thus lost all its meaning until I stepped into the wilderness. The inn, the city where I lived, was often seen as a symbol of civilization. Cyclists passing by on autumn evenings would often be struck by sudden, fierce gusts of wind and sand. A strange smile wiped away as I scrambled for shelter under low eaves. I stood on the sprawling overpass, flipping through an unnamed journal, while uniformed movers busied themselves unloading that day's newspapers from sealed mail trucks and reloading expired ones to be sent to the incinerator. I once wondered if that might be everyone's final resting place, but the thought vanished after witnessing the watchmaker's death. Machines of all shapes and sizes spewed identical thick smoke from their tails, blending with the ever-present dust of the city, becoming something people either flaunted or ignored. The people stepping out of taxis lingered indecisively on either side of countless clock pendulums. These noisy scenes were haphazardly strung together amidst falling leaves and recorded by me at the end of my journal. No one else would mourn or write about them. Sweating. Thinking this, I couldn't help but tremble with fear. What had I forgotten? Maybe I'd forgotten. I pulled out my pocket watch, still early before sunset. What should I eat for dinner? I couldn't remember owning anything, nor was there anyone worth thinking about besides the watchmaker. What could it be? A thought? Probably. Before the sun sets, people have no time to ponder the horror of this final song.
Before the sun sets, people have no time to ponder the horror of the finale of this song.
The journal I clutched repeatedly claimed the words within were detailed and important, but in truth the events I'd altered were impossible to trace once time had passed. Belief and disbelief rested on a whim. Resentfully I left the inn and whiled away the day among streets crammed with goods and lines of flashy but empty words. That evening, on a tattered page of the journal, my reunion with the watchmaker halted some grand scheme I'd been plotting. Clutching a half-torn train ticket, I circled aimlessly between the stops on the loop line. More white uniformed figures loitered, alarms thundered, and I couldn't even see the stars. Through a fragment of text in the journal, I glimpsed the old watchmaker. He sat in the shabby little inn, repeatedly dismantling the pocket watch that had never worked, then piecing it back together. The flickering light in the inn was blinding, yet it didn't hinder his work. Perhaps the so-called experience he'd accumulated over the years of repairing watches was just a perception of time forged over endless years. By then, I'd lived beside the watchmaker for many years. The city's stifling air, the ever-layering dreams, the silent white-clad figures all plunged me into the oblivion of the past and future, leaving me bewildered. Some say life only attains eternity through forgetting, yet my life withered and peeled away into that oblivion. The lacquerware growing increasingly mottled in the autumn wind. Trembling with fear. In truth, every dream of mine those nights was leaking air. In the early days, I'd unconsciously hear the watchmaker's trembling, incoherent voice whistling out to my ears. It had a ceramic rhythm, the sound of sandpaper grating against bone. Shh. Shh. What are you doing? I see you do the same thing every day. If not for the clock slowing down lately, I'd think yesterday was tomorrow, and that the day after was the day before. I remember staring at the watchmaker for a long time before asking. He said it was a good question. He'd spent years searching for today. He kept searching, but he could never figure out which moment on the clock now belonged to, and the only thing the watchmaker could rely on was the clock itself. I think the now he longed for was either fleeting or perpetually delayed, because he could never engrave the precise time. The two gilded characters for now onto that pocket watch he had been repairing for years. The watchmaker would often wipe sweat from his brow and sigh, saying the reason his pocket watch wouldn't work was that he couldn't engrave the correct time on its face. Suddenly the train stopped again before a platform endured with ads and lights. Crowds filed out in customary order, rules set by the whitecoats, while another swarm pushed in. A hat knocked off during boarding fell outside the door, its owner's awkward hand suspended mid-air as the other hand spilled a bag of trivialities, scattering them noisily across the ground. Inside the carriage, laughter and chaos rose and fell, forming the content and meaning of many lives. As the train started moving, the roar shattered my perception of time once more. A bold idea of unknown origin, once shelved in a noisy corner due to my casual forgetfulness, now lingered in the dusty air, its details obscured. A deep terror seized me. That idea grew clear in my mind.
I've long endured an unnamed illness, but the old doctor who examined me didn't understand the ailments of youth. He dared to call me healthy. You're just undergoing extreme trials, extreme exhaustion.
If the pocket watch was accurate, it was midnight. Alone on the terminal platform, I closed the worn journal in my hand and watched trains from different directions glide into the abyssal garage with identical expressions, like bombs sinking into craters or air forced into lungs. Cleaners with yellow armbands moved slowly, sweeping footprints off the platform. According to regulation, their work was a necessary step to welcome the next day. On the surface, everything seemed reasonable, orderly, and many glorified excuses now appeared justified. Some radicals of those words had weathered into ruins over the years. Exhausted, suddenly the commuting crowds were gone, the last red of the sun withdrawn. A stark, weary silhouette outlined in hard lines intruded into my journal. There, in the dim streetlight, the numb-faced watchmaker slumped between two lines of text, the dull surface of his old watch coldly scarred with irregular knife marks.
Now no longer exists. Now has been shattered by fermented events. After leaving, where will you go? What kind of awakening will you step into tomorrow?
The old watchmaker's anguished posture vanished as the candlelight died, swallowed by the vast blackness. His voice, like a fragile autumn leaf, disappeared without a trace after the wind passed. His appearance and disappearance were droplets unable to shake this indestructible city. A city destroying itself in its terminal illness. A fragment from the past or future flashed in my mind. After autumn, as the old watchmaker slept soundly in that shabby inn on the outskirts, I stood at the narrow vista's end with the cold key, ready to lock the door of my apartment. So I pushed through the crowd, climbed the stairs, boarded the train to the suburbs, hesitated, but didn't step back.
Dreams opened their eyes in the dark mist. Ah, the ruined wasteland. Tears with sobs. The dream shattered, the tower collapsed.
Closing my eyes, I felt the candle's warmth. Through the window, I saw the river outside, twisting like a withered tree in the wind. By its banks stood an evergreen fir, dotted with wildflowers of gloomy hues. The morning sun, warm and bright, slanted in, casting sharp boundaries on the mottled room, leaving no room for confusion. "This is an illusion of reality," I murmured, catching the scent of a distant memory. I felt myself sitting in the room on a rusty iron chair, leaning against a square table where a red candle stood. A knife, a lighter, a pocket watch, unnameable fragments. Across the table in the corner sat a girl with blurred features. Just as I thought this was a still painting, half dreaming, she glanced at me and lit the candle with a lighter.
"So, have you made up your mind?" "Decisive, no retreat."
The orange flame swayed at the candle's tip, reminding me of volcanic lava. The stark light outside flooded every shadow in the room, but couldn't dispel the tar in the air. "It's sunny now. The light's bright," I asked. "Why light the candle?" She stayed silent. For a long time neither of us spoke. She lowered her head, carving intricate grooves into the table with a knife. Those shocking marks made me think of the watchmaker's wrinkles, or the river outside. I sat silently across from her, recording everything in my journal. To most, the girl behind the table was unremarkable, but she filled me with dread. Her eyes held an unnatural calm, or was it a fervor even the candlelight couldn't pierce? I tried to find the story's beginning, but failed. The girl kept carving the table, her hands slender, shadowed, impossibly long. Hands like hers couldn't repair watches or wield hammers, but they could pluck out a heart like picking a silent mushroom. She didn't notice my unease. Suddenly her hand slipped, the blade cutting skin. The journal fell. I half rose, wanting to help or speak, but hesitated and stayed seated, watching her tend the wound herself. She sighed or sobbed and gazed at the shortening candle. Tick, tick. The pocket watch's gears turned. The candle had mostly burned, red wax dripping like eternal memory down the metal table, hardening on the steel floor. Then faintly I heard pages turning, a sound that appeared at fixed intervals, as if the world's last objective thing. Soon the scratch of a pen joined it. "Who's writing?" I muttered.
"You are." "The me across from you isn't a person, but a character in the journal. This house, that river, the clear sunlight, all fictional, existing only by the candle's light."
I fell silent, then asked, "Am I fictional too?" She shook her head. She tried to speak, but covered her mouth, kicked the table back, and stared at me, her form wavering, shifting between heights and shapes, eluding my grasp. The candle was nearly spent, deep as a shadow. I stood. Now I remember. This was a cold winter night. I was revising the journal, drowsy, and fell asleep at the desk. A gale roared outside. I'm dreaming. Knowing it's a dream, I'll wake soon. Who are you? Why are you in my dream? Watching the dying flame, she spoke before I could react.
"Now, this dream ends. I leave."
The candle's last flicker tried to relight the world before the familiar inn swallowed me, but darkness struck. As in countless midnight panics, dread nearly shattered me. The watchmaker's shadow flickered before me. "Wait!" I reached out, but could only grasp the cold chair. She was gone.
When sudden rain falls on the world that named it, it slips through fingers like a wave, then vanishes.
I've never distinguished sky from sea. The blue hour's vast gloom nearly swallowed me. The haze of waking hadn't fully faded when the sound of coins hitting the ground filled my ears. Turning, I saw the person who had slept against the train beside me had woken and joined the coin-tossing ritual for blessings. The fireball rose instantly, lighting everything. In the skyscrapers, I'd never felt this. I thought the world was lit by man. Flustered, I flipped open the journal, desperate to record last night's dream, even a fragment. Free of the dome and artificial sun, my frail hand wrote the first new line. I've never distinguished sky from sea. It rained. I'd never been rained on. Absurdity struck, sky falling, sea swallowing. How? Moments ago, dawn's golden clarity had turned violent. The sun vanished, this path blurred behind me, the fresh writing smeared and shattered. Run, I thought, but heard no wind. Damned clouds, punishment for running away. Thunder, thunder. I stumbled like an ant lost in wet cement. Pulling free, I advanced. Trees grew around me, herding me down the lone path. A toad-like creature croaked. A stream. Wrong. A river. An ocean. Shaking hills, boiling waves, endless light. Again, I saw intangible things in phosphorescent air. Sweating, hyperventilating, I thought myself a beast, but my fangs were broken, bones gnawed by ants, vultures circling the clouds. Crawling, I charged like demolition machinery. Thud. I sat in a tiny ruin. The broken roof barely shielded me from the rain, the dying light calming me. Unexpected nostalgia welled up. Hesitation, resentment, hesitation, grievance. I swallowed, amused at my refusal to retreat even drenched. The pocket watch ticked on, but a glance showed its hands frozen at sunrise, the numbers dissolving like the rain-smeared words. I'd cut free from time's flow. Outside, the rain had quietly stopped, the newborn river flowing stubbornly onward, silent. Vast river surging west, rolling east. Nodding, I stepped onto the water. The mirror showed an unfamiliar face, but I knew it was the young watchmaker. Behind him, an endless wall stood unshaken, barring the wilderness. I reached to touch it. The wall, built of dark, wordless stone, metal rivets set in grey cement. My hand brushed the mirror, rippling vertically. I couldn't name its texture, but thought, time. Suddenly the watch fell into the water, the mirror shattered. Silence. True silence for the first time. In the inn, under street lights, by the tracks, noise never ceased. People laughed aside. Machines climbed thick walls, endless artificial days draped the streets. Things bred in the sewers, who knew what flew beyond aircraft. Even the vanished tenants of cheap apartments were part of the city's norm. So my ears held roaring machines, white-clad figures with unconscious malice. No penalty but guilt. Hush, listen. Breath. Footsteps, trapped in the crowd. I couldn't move, couldn't stretch, couldn't hide. My flailing hands spilled a bag of trifles, a mess of feathers and skin. No retreat, no retreat. So I stubbornly walked that solitary path. The white-clad were just workers, not special, not glorious, just ordinary. They dealt in logic, not emotion. Pragmatist, realist. If hell was real, I'd rather revive the rotting watchmaker. Ha! How tragic, how unfortunate. Anger at fertility or hidden motives. What did I want? What should I do? The road forked in the woods, one path sunny, one untrodden. I looked up, the world beneath my feet felt invisible, thus deciding my life's course. time come forth. Witness the shattered dream, the fallen tower. Witness my ruin at this road's end. My past, my ideals, my soul, all invisible. I walked upstream.
You are not alone. You can not advance. You should not decide. You must not back away.
At the wall's base, the city's edge, I met him, a white-clad figure without sunglasses. In the drizzle, still unsettled, I couldn't even greet him.
Good morning. Such heavy rain, yet you didn't take a boat? Quite determined.
He stood by the flood, smiling. I stayed silent, a phantom pain in my ribs. He brushed his clothes, sat beside me, and said,
I fear people can't recall the era before the city. It's everywhere now. The world is only it. Open your eyes and it's there. Eat and its molecules fill your mouth. Sleep and you still breathe it. Like living nature, walking nature. The city is your only nature, your only eternity. Since you're here, does that mean you're lost? Doubting yourself even?
Doubting myself? Yes. Now, dreams, rivers, all excuses, but what can I do? I replied bitterly. If you want me to think independently, why are truths meaningless? If I must speak alone, why make me stammer? If I must live on, begging for forgiveness, why does only death end suffering? Why can no one absolve me? I sing to the stars with my heart.
Then go to death, since you're so bitter and nothing's too costly.
He pointed behind me to a half-open door. Cherish all dying life. No sorrow, no regret, no return, self-doubt, exhaustion, scars. I stood, raised my head, clenched my fists, not to strike but to grit my teeth. Laugh at me, laugh at me. Singing I strode from the past, eyes fixed to nowhere ahead. Still I set out on my own path. Approaching the city gate, always at the center of my vision, I brushed the rough cast iron. Burning pain made me flinch, but I frowned and gripped the handle. I couldn't recall the watchmaker's words. The train's roar lingered but couldn't be placed. The city's faces blurred. Yes, I couldn't record them all. If works reflect their creator's soul, mine must be grotesque, stubborn and wayward. No matter, I wept, my sleeves too short to dry my tears. Exhaling the city's air one last time, I pushed the scorching door open at the thorny road's end. Tonight, the wind caresses the stars again, into the wilderness.
I live only to find what's been lost.
Well, that was depressing.
It was. So this is how others feel. They're so depressed, like life abandoned them.
Is that how you feel, Kat?
Not at all. I have worked my ass off to be as positive and passionate as I can be. I try hard to love everything I do and believe in it to the fullest. This is not that.
I see. Well, do you feel like you found your story all the same?
You know, weirdly enough, I think so. It's weird to be the opposite of what people go through, but screw it. Maybe the library needs some happiness for a change.
Yeah, man, that's the spirit of an adventurer. You gotta, believe in yourself, man, and uncover the secrets that they keep from you. You need to, find yourself to find everything else, man.
Okay, Jean, you can be right just this one time.
Yeah, score one for the little guy.
Yeah, Kat, this is why I brought you here. I knew you'd fit in with us.
With the Interdimensional Book Club?
Exactly.
Well, that confirms my decision. Wherever I can, I'll bring some positivity with me.
Well, I'm glad you found your place. Should we go look for Ani and Rowan now? They must be done with whatever they're doing.
I'm down.
And as we close, I would like to give a special thank you to those in real life who made this long but just fitting episode possible. In particular, I'd like to thank Esme, who played the role of Catalina and one of the narration roles, Moss, who played the role of Mars, John, who played the role of Jean, as well as the voice actors you heard in the story itself. In particular, Echo, who was the narrator who recorded 25 minutes of reading for me, John again, who played the role of the Watchmaker, and Kit, who was the Dream Woman. I didn't include my own roles here. My name is Gaia. I don't think I've ever announced it, but I play the role of Lyrillin, as well as the Man in the Rain. I'd also like to thank the author of today's story, that'd be Hua Nian QWQ, and it was translated by Hidasa into English from the Wanderer's Library Wiki. Finally, I would like to thank the artist of the music that you heard in the background of this episode. His name is Kevin MacLeod, and you can listen to his music and more at incomtech.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.